Welcome back to another episode of Sean and Ed's Do Baseball.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Ed.
And we are bringing you baseball history.
That's right, we're a bi-weekly baseball history podcast where the story catcher doesn't know what the story pitcher is out on the mound throwing.
And I am on the bump with a nice tail.
Is it heater again?
Yeah, it's a bit of a change-up.
It's a change-up?
Guy's a bit of a change-up. I'm doing a profile today, and it's a bit of a change-up, bit of a screwball.
A screwball.
A screwball. That's what I should have gone with.
Yeah.
Restart the episode.
Cut the tape.
Cut the tape.
There's no tapes, it's digital.
It is. Sometimes I have a tape recorder with me, just in case.
I've never seen you use it.
It's in my pants.
Okay.
Where can people find us, Edsy?
You can find us on Twitter at Doing Baseball and on Instagram and TikTok at Doing.Baseball. And, oh yeah, I forgot about my personal thing. I got a personal Twitter, x.com, whatever you're calling it this day and age.
Yep.
At Ed's Do Baseball.
And I'm at Sean Do Baseball. And you can check us out on all the Spotify, Apple, Amazon, I think YouTube as well, wherever you're listening to us and however you're listening to us. Give it a follow, give it a rating and a review. It helps the podcast, and we appreciate you for listening.
Yes, thank you very much.
We also appreciate Two Loons Brewing specifically. Two great guys making great beer. You can have a lager or an IPA at LCBOs or bars around Ontario. But you can also check them out at beer festivals. Check them out at twoloonsbrewing.com. Go check them out if you're at local craft beer festivals or if you're just at your local watering hole. Ask for a Two Loons.
Okay. I would like legal drinking age, and please enjoy responsibly.
Yeah, now finish that thought.
I was going to say that this weekend I was out on the lake and I saw two loons in the wild.
Damn.
Yeah, in real life.
In real life.
True Canadian experience there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is we're not talking about a Canadian per se.
Okay, per se.
Well, no, he's not. There's nothing Canadian about him.
All right.
In fact, if you ask him, there's not very much French about him as well.
All right.
But as you'll hear, it's a very French story today.
All right. I predicted it would be French.
So we start off with Stanley George Bordagaray.
Bordagaray.
I'm just Frenching that up. Bordagaray.
Okay.
He was born in Coalinga, California on January 3rd, 1910 to Dominique and Louise Bordagaray. They were original settlers in the San Joaquin Valley in central California. So he is a very middle child to parents who you can tell from the last name sound very French. But he had not seven brothers and sisters. He had six brothers and sisters, and he was dead in the middle.
Okay, so he was the
ultimate middle child.
The fourth one.
He was the fourth one.
I gotcha.
His father, Dominique, ran a hotel and ranched sheep. His Dominique's father also ranched sheep back in the homeland. And the Bordagaray family was not of French descent. They were Basque. They were of Basque descent. The Basques inhabit southern France and northern Spain. So very much, yes, they're French, but they're not, if you really ask them.
So they speak French.
They do, and Bordagaray, clearly a very much more French than Spanish last name. Okay. And his mother, Louise, was of French descent, too. So we will not be calling Stanley. We won't even call him Stan, because according to Norm King's Saber bio, Stanley and his six brothers were all nicknamed Frenchy.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense, I guess.
No, it doesn't. Like, if all of them are just named Frenchy, they're just making fun of them at this point.
I've seen this happen.
You have your brother and you have similar, people call you by the same nickname per se.
Yes.
But like all of them,
I've seen a family where all of them were nicknamed Frenchy by like by their own separate group of friends.
Okay.
So obviously they just all end up with the name. It proves that people are very unoriginal and they're just like, oh, a guy's French. Frenchy, there we go. That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, to muddle things up, first of all, he didn't. His siblings were not all brothers, but either way, that's what it says in the Sabre bio. And his New York Times obituary says Bordagaray got his nickname from his mother, which
What? His mother was
His
like,
mom's-
yeah, you're just Frenchy. All of yous. That makes it fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, now I see the bone you're picking.
very weird. However, he got the nickname Frenchy. He's Frenchy. So, Frenchy's father, Dominique, wanted.
What's your nickname, Mom? Basque.
But that would, if you ask him,
Yeah.
he would have been like, "That's what they should have called me." Then no one asked.
I see. Yeah, no one checked with me. You don't get to get your own nicknames there, Frenchy.
Yeah. So his father, Dominique, he wanted him to be a violinist. That was his dream for his son, which is super weird living in like rural California in the early 1900s. But whatever, people can dream, and he's like, "Yeah, be a violinist." But
Maybe he was into country, man.
maybe, well, kind of get back there in a little bit. But either way, Frenchy.
When was this again?
1910 was he when he was born?
No, there wasn't.
Yeah, there wasn't
country yet.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no fiddle music.
Yeah, there was just like, we're gonna sing a song.
You sing a song about God. Yeah. Carry on.
Jesus is a friend of mine. Anyways,
It's a very popular 1910 hymn. Covered by the Doobie Brothers.
so Frenchy, our Frenchy, preferred to play sports, starring in baseball, football, and track at Coalinga High School before doing the same at Fresno State University.
Okay.
So, probably helped by his track and football training, he could run. He's fast as fuck. Everybody talks about it. All the early stuff about him was like, they noticed his speed, right? That's the number one thing everybody talks about. So,
It says in the scouting notes, fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah. very strange for the 1920s. But it's written. So he plays a little like semi-pro ball. I'm not sure exactly how, but he plays some good ball in the summertime when he's off school. And his teammate, fantastic name, Army Armstrong, recommends.
Right. See, as I said, with unoriginal nicknames. It's like, what's that guy's name? Armstrong?
All right, Army.
Was he in the army?
I don't know.
Well,
I did
I
no
hope
research
so.
on him. You can make him into an episode if he's worth it.
Okay.
But he recommends him for the Sacramento Senators when Bordagaray is 21 years old. So halfway through the 1931 season, Sacramento gave him a tryout, and they were blown away by Frenchy's speed.
Okay. Did he outrun a runner from
No.
the catcher position, though?
No, yours was much cooler. Yours was much cooler. He signed with Sacramento on July 30th that year. It was supposed to be a 3-week unpaid tryout so Bordagaray could maintain his amateur status and play football for Fresno State in the fall.
Okay.
So they're like, you play for us for most of August, and then you can go back to
Doing some,
school.
like, playing time manipulation. Some
Yeah.
1910s playing time
And he
manipulation.
doesn't get paid. He does not get paid.
No kidding.
Yeah. But
That's what they're doing these days as well.
yeah, and his father's mad when his father finds out about this.
About the time manipulation?
Well,
or not
about-
getting paid?
Just the fact that he signed with this baseball team, because his father's worried that.
Oh, yeah, because he's like violin comes first, man.
And he's in university, and his dad's like, "What do you mean you signed with a pro baseball team?" He's like, "No."
Playing the baseball behind my back.
Yeah. But Frenchy promises his dad that he'll be back in school for football season. He never goes back.
Right. Coach Klein says what daddy don't know.
No, he didn't.
Won't hurt him.
So in his first game of pro ball, he goes 2 for 3. He's good. The Senators offer him a pro contract, but for some reason his dad threatened to sue the team and refused to sign the contract, which makes me confused because he's 21 at this time.
Yeah, he's a grown man.
Grown-ass man. So his dad it has like a Kathy Bates moment. He visits his son in Sacramento, and he's like, Bobby, you play that football.
He has like a a change of heart.
Yeah, that's Kathy Bates when she's pretending to be in the hospital, and then she's like, all these people you brought out, Bobby.
I held you away from the world. What's this guy's name again?
Frenchy Bordagaray.
Yeah, I held you away from the world, Frenchy Bordagaray. What is it?
Garay.
Bordagaray.
Bordagaray.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
I've had to type it thousands of times.
Sounds hard to pronounce.
Yeah. Well, that's why they call him Frenchy, right?
I guess so, bro. Bordy doesn't sound good.
Yeah. So his dad is not the only one, though, that was upset because his football coach, Stan Borleski, according to the LA Times, and I quote, Fresno football coach Stan Borleski met with Senators owner Louis Mooring, hoping to get him to release his star runner. But Bordagaray got 2 hits that day, and Mooring refused. Like, no, he's mine.
Yeah. That's my guy. Those 2 hits belong to me.
So, yeah, and it's clear that he was like a running back in football as well. Once again, the speed and stuff.
Yeah.
So what's supposed to be a 3-week tryout turns into 70 games for Sacramento that year. He puts up a .373 batting average in those 70 games, also with a .540 slugging percentage. Jesus. So, yeah, they didn't have on-base percentage, but probably somewhere close to 1,000 OPS. Mm-hmm. And that's just in 252 at-bats. But if we talk about his extra base hits, he got 28 extra base hits. If you do the math, it's like an extra base hit every 9 at-bats. So every second game, he gets a double, triple, or a home run. Mm-hmm. And he puts up a couple singles in the process. So he's just raking. Frenchy was not going anywhere, as I just said. But the next spring, the press reported that the young star was holding out and threatening Mooring to go back to university in order to get a better contract.
Okay. He's holding it out, using his leverage.
In the first of many, you'll find not to take Frenchy Bordagaray too seriously, because this was just simply a publicity stunt. Basically, he was just like, he just told them that. Wasn't actually true.
He's just fucking around.
Yeah. After his
get his name in the paper?
Yeah. He's a shameless self-promoter, as you're going to find out.
Okay.
After his holdout in March 1932, he told a Sacramento columnist, and I quote, I thought I might get you fellows to fall for my publicity stunt. And how you fell. The contract I got from Mooring was all right, but all I had to do was tell sports writers in Fresno I wouldn't report, and they splashed the story.
P.S. Tricked you.
And then the press are like, why did you do this?
Yeah, you're fucking insane, man.
And you know what his response was? I quote, baseball has too many serious men and not enough comics.
Oh, I love this guy. This guy is Joe Biagini.
Oh, wow. I didn't know we'd have Waterboy and Joe Biagini in the first 15 minutes. Yeah. But you're right. Very similar kind of style.
God, I miss that guy.
In 1932, at the age of 22, he stayed hot. He hit .322 in 173 games for Sacramento. I mentioned before, the PCL plays an insane amount of games back in this time.
Like, how many did you say? Well, like
he played
190?
He played 173, but yeah, they played probably 190-ish games at this time.
That's crazy to play that many games and miss 20.
Yeah, and his slugging came back down to earth. I mentioned how good he was. So he never's really a big slugger, similar to the guy we talked about last, but he still collects 32 doubles, 10 triples, 5 home runs. And on top of his play, Frenchy...
Those doubles are all right.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Fucking right.
Yeah. And on top of his play, Frenchy makes headlines doing another stunt. This time, he ran a 100-yard race against a horse.
Did he win?
No.
Oh.
The horse was named Edom Ra, and it was at the California State Fair in Sacramento. Frenchy lost, probably by a lot. Different reports say different things, and in an interview, Frenchy later on is like, it was close, and I'm like, no, it wasn't.
Like, was it? Like,
it was not.
Was it like they both started at the same point?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's insanity.
Yeah. No, he lost by a lot.
I figured it'd be like, okay, the horse has to run like half a mile, and I run like 100 meters.
Yeah. No, he's fast, but like he's not horse fast.
No.
No one is horse.
Who is horse fast?
I don't know.
I'd like to see someone who is.
All right. Despite a solid year at taking on a horse, the next year Frenchy may have actually had a contract dispute. I have no idea. He could have just been fucking with them again. He might have had a dentist appointment. I don't know. But apparently, Sacramento offered him a pay cut, and Frenchy promptly packed up and left spring trading on March 14th, 1933.
It's like me and the horse are getting out of here, man.
The Fresno Bee Republican ran the headline on March 14th, 1933. Bordagaray deserts Sax in pay fuss.
In pay fuss.
Yeah. Mooring, who seems to be in on it or just not, like...
Is he like the owner?
He's the owner / manager.
Okay.
He's quoted as saying in that article, "The trouble with Bordagaray is he thinks he is Babe Ruth and wants to be paid accordingly. We can't relish that stuff."
All right.
So...
I mean...
Frenchy's back the next day.
All right.
So
I was kidding, guys. He Costanzas them.
Yeah, whatever happened, and even in, like, the Sabre bio, it doesn't really have it, but, like, he doesn't take a pay cut. He probably gets paid about the same. Like, he just, it's nothing. Literally the next day, he's back. There's, like, a headline, and then they're like, oh, there he is. So he dominates, though. 1933, he hits .351 in 416 at-bats, 7 home runs, 146 hits in just 117 games played.
Oh, shit.
So collecting a hit and a third every game. Good enough that the Chicago White Sox came a-calling, and they bought Bordagaray's contract for $15K. Frenchy made his MLB debut with the White Sox in 1934, getting hit and scoring a run on opening day against the Tigers, but Frenchy wouldn't stay long in Chicago. Despite hitting .322 in 87 at-bats, Frenchy was returned to Sacramento on June 9th, 1934, and he finished the year with the Senators, hitting .321 in 117 games. So,
That's all right.
apparently there was a guy for the Sox, like the Sox weren't sure if he was going to be healthy, and then he came back, he was good, and they were like, okay, bye, even though you're hitting .322. But you'll see, like, Bordagaray never really, he becomes a big leaguer, but he never really, has a starting role.
Okay.
So,
It's like a career bench guy.
you'll find out.
4A player.
Yeah, kind of a little bit. Gets a few years as a starter, most of his years as a pinch hitter. You'll see.
Okay.
But baseball history remembers him more
Matt
for...
Steers.
Yeah, a little bit Matt Steers. But with speed instead of home runs.
True.
Okay, so baseball history remembers him for more gaffes than his play on the field.
Oh, no.
From his Sabre bio, and I quote, "That season, Bordagaray performed the first feat of flakiness that made him a raconteur's delight. In a game against the Portland Beavers, the General, as he was called in Sacramento, evidently forgot to go out with the rest of his troops to his position in right field. None of his teammates noticed until Portland center fielder Nino Bongiovanni hit a double to Frenchy's vacated spot."
Jesus Christ, how does that happen?
I know. It's hilarious. And he's just like, it just like adds to like...
Like, I've seen that happen in, like, my Wednesday night softball league, but, like, fuck, man.
I know. So silly
Not one person.
Not one person's like, hey, Frenchy, or the General.
Yeah. General.
So either way, despite the silly mistake, the Dodgers make a trade for Frenchy in the offseason. They send Johnny Frederick and Art Herring plus cash to Sacramento, and Bordagaray's back in the big leagues with the Dodgers. It was with the Dodgers that Bordagaray would stick. Their manager, the one and only Casey Stengel, would have a very strained relationship with Frenchy.
I mean, Stengel was kind of a very strange guy, so...
A bit old school, right?
Yeah.
Not one to have, like, he'd fun, but, like, serious.
Yeah, no, serious for sure. I just, like, I picture, I think of Stengel oddly, for, like, his like, grapefruit thing, and, like, the bird in his hat.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
He's a colorful guy, but he's also old school as fuck.
Yes.
So in Bordagaray's first year with the really bad Brooklyn Dodgers, they're not good at this time. Frenchy hit .282 in 120, I believe, games for the Dodgers. He had no power, but he was third in the league with 18 stolen bases.
Okay.
So
You said he was speedy.
yeah.
He tried to beat a horse.
So there's also a story of Frenchy Bordagaray that you might have heard, or you might have heard some lore about. And it's most likely untrue. But as any good story, there is a little bit of truth to it. And here's the true part. In August of 1935, Frenchy was thrown out at home, and he came in standing up. Stengel was furious and asked Frenchy, "Why didn't you slide?" Frenchy told him, "I had some nice cigars in my back pocket, and I didn't want to ruin them."
I've heard that quote before.
So Stengel fines Frenchy $50.
Yeah.
Now comes the legend. It is said that the next day, Frenchy Bordagaray hit a home run and then slid into every base as he trotted around the bases just to piss off Stengel.
Oh my god. That's an awesome troll job.
But he didn't do that.
Oh.
He did not.
Disappointed.
I know. Well, first of all, he's the type of old man, probably giving it away that he gets to be an old man, but he's the type of old man that would confirm anything if you asked him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did that.
Yeah. He's like, "It's against the Giants." And then someone's like, "You didn't hit a home run against the Giants that year." And he's like,
You've never played the Giants.
so somebody actually took the time to be like, "Nah, that never happened." Like,
Okay. They fact-checked him.
They fact-checked, and one of his teammates tells a story of him not sliding because he had the cigars in his back pocket, but doesn't say that he slid into every base the next day.
I see.
So there's a truthful part where Bordagaray is like, "Fuck you, Stengel, I got cigars." But he did not rub it in Stengel's face by sliding into every base.
I see.
On a home run. Because that probably would have got him fucking beat to death by the other team as well. Like,
Oh, probably, yeah.
yeah, so, you know.
You're showing everybody up at that point.
Yeah, and he only hit one home run in 1935, and it came a month later.
Okay.
So
There you go, right there.
yeah, this guy, there's somebody that went into like a WordPress thing. It's like 1,000 words on like, "This never happened," and I just like, well, when did that happen? August. Okay, when did he hit a home run? Okay, well, it's not true.
That's done.
Done. So that off season, Frenchy returned home to California, and he lands an acting gig. So Frenchy
Acting. Okay.
grew a mustache and like a little goatee for an uncredited part in a film directed by the famous John Ford, The Prisoner of Shark Island.
Ooh. Dun, 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 dun.
But he doesn't shave afterwards.
Oh, he keeps the stash and...
He's got like a Van
soul
Dyke
patch thing
Yeah,
going
he's
on?
got like a Van Dyke going on. He shows up to spring training.
They're
And-
like, it's Satan!
Yeah, so this is 1936, I believe. The last player to have worn a mustache on a major league field was Wally Shang in 1914.
Jesus Christ.
It's been 20 years of clean-shaven
Yeah,
players.
so they're all yankified
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, which is fuck.
This guy starts a new mustache gang.
And as I say, it's not like a Davis Schneider like strong, fucking manly. It's like a little Van Dyke, and it's like you'll see. It's slim, but like not too slim. But he's got the little soul patch and the little, spot on his chin going as well. Okay. And the Brooklyn press make a huge deal. And Frenchy is relishing it. He knew what he was doing when he showed up. Right? It's his second full year in the majors. And he's like, I'm going to show up with a mustache. He's just being a fuck. So he even wears a monocle one day when he shows up.
Oh my God.
He's like,
Pip, pip, tally-o, we're going to play some baseball this afternoon.
yeah, and the New York press is like eating it up. Apparently the Brooklyn Eagle hosted a contest to determine what sort of beard Bordagaray should grow, which doesn't make sense. I don't think they could make him. And sports writers were like, "Yeah, this is great. Let's keep going."
This is a perfect JP episode,
It
in
is.
fact.
Not just French ancestry, but
No, but the facial hair list is
Oh, yeah.
something that He said, "I'm still waiting on that list." By the way, JP.
Of course. So on top of that, Frenchy has another gaffe on the field in an exhibition game. Frenchy's hat blows off while he's chasing a fly ball. Oh, no. Frenchy stops, picks up his cap, and then continues running after the ball.
Oh, no.
Casey Stengel was apoplectic on the bench. According to former Dodger Buddy Hassett, and I quote, "Stengel stood on the dugout steps with his arms at his side and his mouth open. He could not believe what he was seeing. When Frenchy returned to the dugout, Stengel asked him what he was doing out there. The cap wasn't going anywhere, but the ball was." Frenchy replied, "I forgot."
Jesus Christ. This guy sounds like a little bit like, like Manny being Manny.
Yeah. 100%.
Frenchy being Frenchy.
Yeah. So after 2 months of the mustache, Stengel's had enough. He calls Frenchy into the manager's office, and he demands that he shaves his mustache and quits the shenanigans.
It's like, listen, man, I've been staying awake at night thinking about your goddamn mustache. And that soul patch. What is with the soul patch? I could do the mustache, man. You gotta lose the soul patch at least.
Apparently, he says sternly to Bordagaray, "If anyone's gonna be a clown on this club, it's gonna be me."
So that's what this was really all about.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm the damn class clown here.
Yeah, Frenchy apparently...
This team ain't big enough for the both of us.
Frenchy looks hurt. And Stengel, who I think is like a good manager, like understands that he just like really took the wind out of his sails. And Stengel responds, "Fun is fun, but fans don't want to laugh all the time."
Okay. That sounds like a fair compromise. Was like made in Stengel's mind right then.
Yeah. And later on, Frenchy would say of his antics, in a quote, "I was making $3,000 a year playing baseball, so I figured I could at least have fun while I was not getting rich."
That's true. This I don't know why, but this is how I imagine the dynamic with John Gibbons and Joe Biagini was sort of like.
Jesus Christ, man! Just fucking stop.
Just chill out. Like,
I'm
on
sorry,
the interviews,
Joe. I'm sorry. It's just that. Anyway, so despite the consternation and news headlines, Bordagaray is playing baseball. He bats .315, a .346 on base percentage, and a .314 slugging percentage for the Dodgers. He finishes ninth in the NL with 12 steals, and still the Dodgers suck. But Bordagaray continues to drive Stengel nuts throughout this season. Mm-hmm. From the New York Times, and I quote, "Bordagaray found other ways to torment Stengel. When he was picked off at second base in a game with the Cubs, Stengel argued with the umpire that Bordagaray had been standing on the bag the whole time. But Bordagaray told Stengel that he had been tapping the bag, and he had been caught between taps."
Jesus, he's always got something to say, eh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just like, oh, God. Like, and Stengel, like, I think Stengel likes him, but hates him.
He's just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, so here's a really good, another little bit from the New York Times on Stengel that mentions... Stengel's kind of, you get a sense of Stengel's relationship with Bordagaray, where he's just like, they're close, but like, he's like, oh, you fucking, I can't stand you on the field. So, from the New York Times, one day in Cincinnati, pitcher Big George Earnshaw led 2-0 going into the last of the ninth, and Bordagaray put him in the hole by horribly misplaying a simple fly ball to right field. Then, with 2 out, Frenchy saved the game with a tumbling circus catch. In the clubhouse, Bordagaray walked over to Earnshaw and said, "How'd you like me giving the old decoy so they wouldn't hit the ball to me in the clutch? Or so they would hit the ball to me in the clutch." Stengel heard this and came up on the rear and pinioned Frenchy's arms. "I'll hold him, George," Stengel said. "You bite his leg."
Okay, so I see why Stengel was well liked.
Yeah.
Seems like he's, he knows when it's important to have a good time. But despite, what the fuck, man? Like,
You walked up to
just
him.
play the goddamn game.
You
Like,
made an error in the ninth and then a great catch. Just don't say anything.
Yeah,
just don't say anything. You don't need to walk up to the pitcher and be like, that was a close one, wasn't it?
you see how I fucked with them? And in turn, all of you?
Yeah. So it's like not like Stengel's like suspending him for this antics, but he's like, fuck,
Yeah.
dude, just bite him. Do
Yeah.
something to
Yeah.
him. He's
Yeah.
anyways.
Put him on the injured list.
So as you can tell, Frenchy becomes known as the man with the best quote on the team. So the press know they can go to him. And after the Dodgers beat the Cardinals 4-3 in a game where Frenchy hit well but made a costly error, he said to the press, "I accounted for all 7 runs. I knocked in 4 myself and played a Terry Moore hit into a 3-run homer." So he's like very unabashed, very self-promoting.
Yeah.
He says
Very matter of fact and just, yeah.
a little out of line,
Yeah.
a little bit out of line for sure.
But it sounds like he's just like there to have a good time and doesn't really give a shit too much.
But as most coaches, especially probably Casey Stengel would say, that did eventually, not do great for him on the field. And the Brooklyn Daily Eagle ran a headline on December 15th, 1936, and I quote, "Lack of big league fundamentals raises havoc with Bordagaray." So,
All right.
in the article, Tommy Holmes talks about Frenchy's great athletic ability on the field and his speed and his hitting, but he quips, and I quote, "He makes you eat holes in your hat. The reason it seems to me, is lack of big league instinct in such fundamentals as base running and fly catching."
Okay. I have a recent player on the Blue Jays in mind that's making me think of this.
Yeah.
He's doing quite well on the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Right now.
Of course.
Yeah.
But either way, I think they're basically just like his fielding's bad, his instincts are not good. He's perfectly if he just focused.
I was gonna say, yeah. He seems like they're saying you've got all the talents here, buddy. Like if you would just stop messing around, you'd be like the greatest player of all time.
And he would not be the greatest player of all time because the Dodgers fire Stengel and they send Frenchy to St. Louis and the Cardinals. In St. Louis, Frenchy would be a part-time player, but a full-time member of Pepper Martin's Mudcats, a band of ball players. Definitely an episode in the future.
Hold on. Like a band? Like a music band?
Yeah, Frenchy played washboard.
What's it called again?
The Pepper Martin's Mudcats.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can do that episode. Frenchy plays washboard and fiddle.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What year is this now?
This is late 30s.
Oh, we got country music going on.
Oh,
now.
we got country music going on now. Yeah. Yeah. So they actually would even tour as a band, and they did the Fox theater circuit at $50 a show. An article by the Associated Press, you're about to oh shit yourself to death right here. An article by the Associated Press in the spring of 1938 said, "Frenchy is a sensation. His washboard has a 3-tone phone, bicycle bells, and an electric light for special renditions."
Oh my god, an electric light?
An electric light.
What's that for?
On a washboard.
What's that for?
Special renditions, of course.
I guess so, but what does that even mean? Like, is it just... I guess that's just to, like, add effect.
I guess. They're like, he's got a light.
It's not like he turns it on, it, like, buzzes somehow, and that
Yeah.
adds a meaning.
I don't know. You will find out, and you'll tell me in a future
I'm gonna
episode.
check it out. Yeah.
So on the field, Frenchy plays 96 games, 16 extra base hits, 1 home run, 11 stolen bases. That's 1937. 1938, Cardinals again. 282 in 81 games, just 6 extra base hits, no home runs. So very much a bench player at this point. He did, however, rake as a bench player. He hit .465 as a pinch hitter that year.
Holy shit.
It's the second highest batting average ever for a pinch hitter. And I think it was in like 22 pinch hits. He was like 12 for, it was like 11 or 10 for 22 or something like that. That's what it would have been. After 1938 season, the Cardinals sent Frenchy down to their farm club in Rochester. But he's like, no, fuck that. I'm not going there. So they trade him to the Reds.
Okay. I love this guy. He's like, nah.
Oh, it keeps happening. Trust me.
Oh, sick.
Although the Reds would win the pennant that year, Bordagaray did not help them win the pennant that year. In 63 games, he hit 197 with an OPS plus of 35.
Ooh.
He was 65% worse than other players when it comes to OPS. He was really bad.
Sacre bleu.
He was really bad. He was like a negative WAR. It's the worst season of his career. And the Reds get to the World Series, though, and they get swept. Frenchy only appears in 2 World Series games, both as a pinch hitter.
Okay.
Yep. So
Bummer.
he opens a club in Cincinnati, and this like national columnist is like, "That's dumb. You hit 197." Like,
Yeah, no one likes you here.
yeah. So
Like, you want to go to that shitty hitters bar?
yeah, it's called Frenchy's Barn.
Okay.
But
Pretty close to Frenchy's bar.
yeah, Frenchy's Barn. So Bordagaray, though, is promptly traded to the Yankees, who were good and had no use for Frenchy Bordagaray. So he gets sent to the Kansas City Blues, the American Association, where he does go. Frenchy proved he could still hit. He gets 214 hits in 154 games, including 51 extra base hits for a 358 average. Just decimates the American Association that year. And the Yankees were like, all right, you
can come up.
You can come up.
Get rid of that Van Dyke thing you got going on, though.
That's gone.
Oh, that's long gone.
Well, Stengel pulled him in the office and was like, I'll fucking kill you. Anyways, Frenchy got very limited time, but he would earn a World Series ring with the Yankees. He played in just 36 regular season games, along with appearing just once as a pinch runner once again in the World Series. This time, he was on the winning side, and he got a World Series ring, but never got a World Series at bat.
Okay.
So just pinch ran 3 times in 2 trips to the World Series.
Wow.
Well, that's what I mean. He's known for his speed more than anything.
That's interesting.
So the Yankees try to send Frenchy back to Kansas City, and this time he's like, nah, fuck that. I hit 356 there. You can fuck yourselves. And they sell him to the Dodgers. So he's back with the Dodgers. But Stengel's gone. And Frenchy, you're going to like Frenchy even more here. He would say with his time with the Yankees, and I quote, "I couldn't have fun with them. They were way too serious. Snooty guys. Except Joe DiMaggio. He's the only one I got along with."
He's hanging out with that actress.
Yeah. So he hates the Yankees. Yeah. He's just like, everyone sucks on the Yankees.
That's cool.
Couldn't have fun there.
I mean, yeah, that does endear him to me more.
Yep. So this is a history podcast. That was the 1941 season-ish, somewhere in there. And, of course, you know, we can say that something big in history happens around this time.
At the end of the year.
Well,
right?
I mean, it had already started years before. But if you're an American, yes.
Yes.
World War II starts.
Yes.
And
I've heard of it.
Yeah. There's
a big conflict.
Yeah, a few countries get involved.
Yeah, most of them.
Most of them. But Frenchy Bordagaray does not, because World War II could not have come at better timing for his baseball career.
Oh, okay.
And he's in his 30s at this point.
Right.
So he's not.
He's not. They're not
shipping
really
him out.
looking at him.
No. So
they're like, you stay here and entertain, Frenchy.
Yeah, but everybody else is signing up. So the major leagues are thinning out right when he's beginning to suck.
Okay. Oh, okay. So that does benefit him.
That does. So he sucks in 1942. He hits 241 in very limited at-bats. I'm talking 58. Okay. 58 in a whole fucking year.
58 at-bats.
He wasn't sent down at any point. He's just there.
He's just hanging out.
You get to 1 at-bat every 3rd game.
He's really good at rolling cigarettes.
Yeah. So, in fact, from 1939 to 1942 combined, Frenchy Bordagaray hit a paltry 225 and 280 plate appearances with 9 extra base hits and 0 home runs. He's in his 30s, But because of the shortage of men, Frenchy continues to get a shot with the Dodgers. Surprisingly,
Got nobody else.
Surprisingly, it works out. 1943, 120 OPS plus. He hits 302. As well, he walks. All of a sudden, he starts walking. Like I was looking at his baseball reference, and he just like starts walking twice as much as he strikes out. So his on base
isn't
percentage.
it great how I trolled you guys this whole time, and I'm actually awesome?
I was just fucking with you the last 4 years. He's all of a sudden a fantastic, not just at getting on base, but like he can hit, he can run. He's 33 years old. He even steals home in a game. Cincinnati Enquirer baseball writer Lou Smith put a sidebar column on August 11th, 1943. Bordagaray still home in the 7th, much to the chagrin of Mr. Beggs, who was more interested in fiddling around on the mound instead of keeping his eye peeled on the speedy Frenchman.
All right. Yeah, that'll cost you.
And Bordagaray would be like, Basque! I'm fucking Basque!
Yeah, I'm Basque, buddy. Get it right.
1944, Frenchy would set career highs in basically everything at the plate, including a 501 at-bats, 6 home runs, and 26 doubles. He also played a lot of third base, which was a bad idea. I guess he was slowing down in the outfield. And he was not...
So they put him at the hot corner?
Yeah, this is Branch Rickey's idea, or whoever's managing, and Branch Rickey had to sign off on it.
Yeah.
But Branch Rickey would famously say of Bordagaray, he's either the poorest great third baseman or the greatest poor third baseman.
Okay.
So
he's not doing so great in St. Louis.
I found another one that, like, there's no record of, but old man Bordagaray says it's true.
Yep. Did that.
From Frenchy claimed he's hit in the head and knocked unconscious by a pitch. And he says, Ricky sent out for a priest to give me last rites. They took me to the hospital. The doctor examined me and said, they can't hurt you by hitting you in the head. They got to throw at your feet. Which just sounds like a dumb story.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm dumb, but my feet were my weapons on the baseball field. I don't know. It never happened. Whoever printed that, you're wrong for printing it. That was an old man taking you for a ride. Anyways, Frenchy also returned to the silver screen. According to his New York Times obituary, he donned a fake beard this time as a member of the Battling Beavers team in the 1944 Red Skeleton film Whistling in Brooklyn, which was filmed in part at Ebbets Field.
The Battling Beavers.
Yeah.
What's that?
I guess it's a team in this Whistling in Brooklyn movie.
Is it a baseball movie?
I'm assuming if it was filmed at Ebbets Field.
It sounds like it was.
Yeah, or it could be a football movie.
I guess.
I don't know. I'm going to guess that it's an old baseball movie, or at least has a scene of a baseball. Anyways, he falls back to earth, though, in 1945. He finishes the campaign with a .256 average in 113 games. He had grown a much more patient hitter, which I had already talked about, continuing to walk more than ever before, but his lack of power and dwindling speed gave the Dodgers no choice but to cut Frenchy before the 1946 season. The war was over, and so was Frenchy Bordagaray's career in the
They're like,
majors.
all the good guys are here now. Sorry, Frenchy.
Exactly what happened.
Yeah. All right.
They're like, we tried you at third. It's not happening. Goodbye. But Branch Rickey recognized his talent, and he gives him a chance to be a manager. And he starts as a player manager for the Trois-Rivières Royals in Quebec.
I was going to say, in Quebec.
Yeah. He tried the poutine.
Yeah. Okay, let's not do
Anyways,
that.
they have their affiliate, Class C. It's the Can-Am League, which still exists to this day. In 1946, at 36, he batted .363 and managed the team to a regular season title, as well as winning the league championship. As the manager with Trois-Rivières, Frenchy managed 2 black players who Rickey had signed in 1946, John Wright and Roy Partlow. Both had tried out for the Royals along with Jackie Robinson, but they were sent down to Trois-Rivières, which was like the next league down.
Yeah.
Frenchy would later say to Sports Illustrated, and I quote, "On the Three Rivers team, we had all nationality. Blacks, whites, Frenchmen, Jewish boys. We had the whole works." That's not the whole works. But the funny thing about it was I never thought of Wright or Partlow as black. I just thought of them as ball players. Mm-hmm. So it's just he's a good guy. He's not a dick. He's a little bit of a prankster, but doesn't see too different. Probably because he was like ostracized for his ethnic background when he was a child, by his mother, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, possibly.
On top of managerial success, he was chosen most valuable player of the league. And Branch Ricky's impressed. He promotes Frenchy to player manager of the Greenville Spinners of the Class A South Atlantic League for 1947. But on July 15th, 1947, Frenchy and umpire had a dispute that ended with Frenchy punching and spitting on the umpire.
Oh, God.
I didn't see this one coming either.
No.
It was very weird. His Wikipedia has this happening early in his career, but there's newspaper articles. It happened. And he's suspended 60 days and fined $50 and never returns to organized baseball.
All right. That's it.
When
spits on an umpire, punches him, and he's out.
He's out. So when
ultimate troll job.
When told of the fine and suspension, Frenchy was quoted as saying, "I deserve something, but this is more than I expectorated."
Expectorated. What a goof.
So the next year, Frenchy makes an attempt to come back with the Dodgers. He goes to spring training, but he was finished. He had done his best to have fun his whole career. Mm-hmm. He finishes with a .283 batting average, an OPS of .697, which is like 91 OPS plus, so like close to average but below.
Yeah.
He was a role player, but his colorfulness on the field and his feud with Casey Stengel is remembered fondly by Dodgers fans even 100 years later. Mm-hmm. No matter if he was good or bad, Frenchy played the game with joy and was a shameless self-promoter and enjoyed having a great deal of fun. Probably too much, if you asked Casey Stengel. Mm-hmm. Frenchy had a wife, Victoria, there was a weird blog post on how hot she was.
That is very strange, yes.
Yep. When he left baseball, the family moved to Kansas City, where he worked developing cemeteries across the Midwest, saying he made more money
crazy character
in the cemetery business than baseball. Later, his family would move to Ventura, California, where Frenchy worked as sports supervisor for the Ventura Department of Sports and Recreation until 1988. According to his Sabre bio, in a quote, he once said in an interview that he never reached his peak because doctors failed to diagnose that he had hypoglycemia, a blood sugar disorder that caused weakness. Which is a little bit sure, I guess, but like you hit extra base hits in the lower leagues.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. Despite the disorder, if he had it, Frenchy lived a long and most likely decent life. Bordagaray was named to the Fresno County and Ventura County Sports Hall of Fame, as well as being inducted into the Brooklyn Dodgers Hall of Fame. Proud of his career and the publicity he garnered, he kept all the newspaper clippings in a scrapbook that apparently weighed 15 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
And finally, Bordagaray died in a Ventura nursing home on April 30th, 2000, at the age of 90. He had 7 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren.
Oh, that's a big family.
Yeah, he lived a good life.
Did a lot of screwing around and then did a lot of screwing.
I don't think he made the grandchildren.
Yeah.
But I think he had 4 kids or something like that. But no, that's Frenchy Bordagaray. That's he's a little bit of a goofball.
Yeah, that was you said the guy was a fun guy and he definitely was interesting. One thing I was just kind of what I was looking at there was it's interesting that Casey Stengel had to deal with that guy. But then he also had to deal with Jimmy Pearsall as a fucking manager for the Mets in the 60s. So, I'm sure he learned a lot from that experience before he had to deal with Jimmy.
Oh, my God. Well,
awesome story, man.
Well, I think I found it because of the horse race.
Okay.
I think that's how I found it. But then just like the mustache being such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I love the fact that he fucked with the press and was just like, "Oh, I'm out of here, no contract." And they're like, "Oh, he's going. There's a dispute," and he's like, "Screw with you guys, it's fine."
Yeah, he just sound like he turned like every potential bad situation into like situation where he could have fun. So
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and just as an player, not that I played at any level close to even what he played at, but to go up to a pitcher and be like, "Oh, I made that one fun, eh?"
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like, just,
that is crazy.
That shows me more about his like not giving a shit personality than like any of the publicity stunts, because that's behind closed doors, and that's just you going up to a guy that you have to live with, who he has to like
work with every
day.
Yeah.
And you went up and were just like, "Oh, I made that one interesting. That was great." And as a manager and as a pitcher, I would hate that. I would love his like fun lovingness. I would hate that guy. So I understand what Stengel went through.
Well, thanks for that story, Sean. And I don't know really what else to say. So
transition to the socials.
So if you have any story suggestions for us, or you want to talk about that episode or anything like that, you want to follow us on Twitter at Doing Baseball, or on Instagram and TikTok at Doing.Baseball. Or you can see my personal Twitter, x.com. It's pretty boring, but you can check it out at Ed's Do Baseball.
I'm at Sean Do Baseball. I sometimes post stuff. Been trying to actually do a Sunday morning baseball history thing on our Sean Ed's our Doing Baseball Twitter. Forgot to do that this Sunday because it was Father's Day, and I got the day off.
Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. This is like a month after
I
that.
know, but still.
Anyways, so check that out. We try to profile old episodes and give you a little bit of history there. But until next time, give us a review, give us a rating, all of that. Tell your friends. And I'm Sean.
And I'm Ed.
And we were doing the baseball.
Okay, bye.